what initially made you want to come on board Minecraft?
A very lucky set of events. So I've done a bunch of movies with Legendary, with Kel Boiter and Mary Parent over there. And I think Minecraft was our 5th movie together. And Kel called me one day and said, we've got this movie coming together with Jared Hess. And I was like, stop, okay, I'm in. Jared's like a complete hero, comedy hero for me. And we went and met. I think he met with a bunch of candidates. And we just hit it off. We absolutely hit it off together. And had a great lunch and shared a lot of the same comic sort of sensibilities, and he hired me, which was a red letter day. It was great. I was very happy about it.
The movie has so much. We'll talk about comedy in a second, but the movie has so much going on visually, but also has a dramatic story you got to tell. From the editing standpoint, how did you want to balance that, making sure that the awesome visual and the fun of it doesn't fully drown out whatever the character moments you want to portray?
That was, I think, like with any picture, that's a challenge, but particularly on this, right? Because there was a certain amount of fan service, if you like, that we had to check those boxes. And then we also had to make it an engaging emotional experience, which is where Jack Black just oozes that kind of charisma, and he was able to kind of spend a lot of time with our younger cast member, Sebastian Hansen, who played Henry. And he was, I would say, instrumental in that, finding the heart of the film. A lot of that came from Jack. And then, visual effects-wise, it was a massive undertaking to take these 8-bit, in effect, video game characters that everyone was used to, and creating a photoreal environment for that. And that was, I just have to hand it to Dan Lemon and his team at Weta Digital and those folks. They did the most extraordinary job.
I'm curious. All right, so then what was the most challenging sequence for you to pull off?
Hands down, the prologue. So, the first, we were either going to nail it or we were going to get eaten alive, right? In our first 30 seconds of the film.
That's extreme.
and it was, given this fan base, right? Yeah. That we had to get it right. And I mentioned on our panel that we had, I think, 35 iterations of the first 2.5 minutes of the movie. Different people narrating it, and then eventually one of our producers, Kel Boiter, came up with the idea of why doesn't Jack? And it sounds like a really simple, why didn't we think of this? But actually, that was a game changer for us. When our lead character, Steve, then became the narrator of the film, it just made the whole thing feel incredibly personal and like it was his story, which is ultimately what Minecraft is, right? As a player, you are building your own unique story. And you'd say to six folks, go build a post office in Minecraft. Every single iteration of that would be their interpretation of what that should look like. And so that's why the movie's called a Minecraft movie and not the Minecraft.
It's interesting that we have a lot of editor students in the audience. It's a good lesson that sometimes minor changes everything, especially when you try to set the tone of the film.
I mean, absolutely a game changer. And one of our producers, it was his idea. And I can remember Jared and I were quite resistant at the time. We're like, well,
of course.
And then we tried it out, and it was like, yes. Yeah. So that was a really interesting. That whole prologue was something we went round and round and round because, as I say, if we got it wrong, we would have been literally eaten alive. And so that was the toughest sequence.
Well, thanks so much for joining us.